Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Luring HD for a new video, and welcome to Bryan, who is a friend and entrepreneur who has a pretty amazing and touching story that I think you guys will be interested in. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I think this is an exciting topic that I really love talking about.
Right. Our favorite topic.
Our favorite topic. STDs, anyone? My name is Bryan Stacy. I'm the CEO and co-founder at a company called Biem Health, where we focus on sexual health. A quick background on me: 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with both testicular cancer and chlamydia. I grew up in a household where we didn't talk about sex, and that included sexual health. So when I started feeling symptoms, I got nervous a little bit, I was a little bit ashamed, and I didn't know what to do. So I did what a lot of people do in a situation like this, and that's nothing.
Right. Disregard.
Disregard, right? It's probably nothing, it'll go away, and you start to tell these stories, and you start to play the what if game, and I did all of that. So it actually took me 3 months from the time that I started to feel symptoms to actually go get tested. And as a matter of fact, the symptoms that I felt had nothing to do with STIs.
Right, because most STIs are asymptomatic in the first place.
Yeah, the fact that I went in eventually 3 months later to get the testicular cancer checked out, I just, oh, by the way, happened to have chlamydia too. Were
STIs a topic that you were talking about with your friends or with sexual partners? Like, how were you relating to STIs?
This is not a subject that we brought up with friends. I mean, if you have a dick or ball problem, not something you really discuss with your friends. You barely recognize it yourself. It wasn't something I was really worried about. I was not getting tested regularly. I certainly didn't have the question, certainly before having sex with anybody, like, hey, have you been tested? You know, you make a lot of assumptions in your mind and it makes you feel better, but it doesn't always work.
Right. It actually never works.
Right, yes, yeah.
Full disclaimer, it never works, guys. Did it change the perception of yourself when you heard, you were diagnosed with chlamydia? I
think if I was diagnosed with chlamydia by itself, yeah, I would have started to feel some of that, oh my gosh, like, who gave it to me? Almost a little anger. Why do I have this? What do I need to do to get rid of it? Now, luckily, chlamydia is something that is one of the curable STIs, right? They're all treatable, but they're not all curable. Chlamydia is. That was overshadowed a little bit by having testicular cancer.
For sure.
When you're diagnosed with cancer, the first thing you want to know is, am I going to live or die? Right? The stats are out there.
Right.
You can look them up. The doctor told you have a 96% chance of survival. That's not bad.
Yeah,
96 is pretty good.
Okay.
Right? As cancer goes, that's a pretty good cancer to have. While it's not an STD, testicular cancer, I did have a lot of questions about what that means for life, for treatment, for what it's going to be like having one ball after surgery.
Right.
Like, can I have kids? What are women going to think of me? Am I going to look strange? Am I going to feel strange? Is my testosterone levels going to be okay? So a lot of those questions, while not specific to other STDs, they are the same questions that people ask and answer in their head before they even get treated or before they get tested and diagnosed, and that's what scares us into inaction.
You also started a blog while going through that experience. How has this helped you, and how has this helped other people, I imagine? Sure.
So I ended up, I went from somebody that did not talk about sex or sexual health, I just kind of did it, to somebody that said, I want to get the word out about what I'm going through as it pertains to testicular cancer. I largely wrote the blog because I wanted friends and family to be updated on my status, going through surgery, going through chemotherapy. But what that did is it opened up the floodgates for people to come talk to me about their sexual health. The day I came back to work after being gone for 3 months, I had a guy, didn't know him, come up to me in the hallway at the office and said, hey, my right nut's been hurting me a little bit, like, can you check it out?
You're like, oh my God!
And yeah, I was like, that's not my job. I am not very good at that. Maybe read the blog and go see a doctor.
Yeah.
But what I realized is if people have the excuse to come to you in a way that is not confrontational, it's non-judgmental, they'll do it. But we still need that excuse. In that entire blog post, I didn't mention chlamydia one time. Because STDs are a tough thing for people to get behind. Cancer, on the other hand, oh man, you have cancer, that's terrible. Like, I'm sorry, you get to play that cancer card all over the place. People feel sorry for you. They think you're such a trooper for talking about it and telling people about it and being open and honest about it. But in reality, where the shame still lied wasn't in cancer, because I didn't do anything to get cancer, but I did something to get chlamydia. And that's something that people, generally speaking, have a problem with.
Right. Although you do something that everybody does and
Right.
that everybody has been doing since like the dawn of mankind.
Right.
Somehow you did something wrong.
That's right.
In your blog post, actually, one of your blog posts, you talk about the feeling of like beating cancer, like the achievement that you feel when you're beating cancer. And to me, it resonated particularly because there are some STIs like HPV who are non-treatable, not curable. So it's something that your body is supposed to like eliminate on its own from like 1 or 2 years. And somehow, when you do eliminate HPV, you do feel like, yes, like I beat this, and I didn't go through chemo, or I didn't, lose my hair or lose a testicle or anything. But still, it feels like it could lead to a cancer, which it didn't. And my body was able to like fight this, and yet we're not able to like celebrate it the same way. We're not able to bring in people, that collective participation of like, yes, you can do it. And it's something that, I don't know, it's frustrating, that should change, because at the end of the day, it's really a matter of how you frame it in your head. Is it something that you can talk about and that you can rally people around, or is it something that you're going to be ashamed of because you feel like you got it because you did something to your point?
And it took me, I mean, it wasn't like I came to this epiphany where I should tell people about my chlamydia right away. I didn't start talking about this until about a year ago.
So what happened? How come you started talking about this?
I talked with a couple of reasons. I talked with a lot of people that most of their sexual health stories were STD in nature. And so I started to feel like a fake. I started to think, wow, like I'm talking about this brave person talking about testicular cancer, and all these other people are telling me about STDs, and I'm not being fully authentic with what actually happened to me, because this is a big part of the story.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. I also had I had a really hard time figuring out how my family was going to react. And as a matter of fact, they weren't the first people I told. I actually told a group full of strangers as I was talking about Biem, my company, that, hey, I was diagnosed with this and this. And then I sent that video to my family, and they're like, what was that thing after cancer?
Rewind
right.
10 seconds.
Was that chlamydia? And I was like, yeah, that's something that happened too.
That happened.
Yeah, that also
Sorry, Mom.
happened.
So we talked about your blog, and now today you have an app.
Right.
So what has happened between hosting a platform to talk about your experience about cancer to developing an app?
One of the key players, one of the key characters in this story is a guy named Art Rastenhead. He's my friend. He's also a urologist.
Okay.
Also happens to be a co-founder at Biem. When I moved to New York 3 years ago, I was talking to him about my situation, which he largely knew, but also these other situations I talked to people about. And he looked at me as we were talking about sexual health as it pertains to him being a urologist, and he goes, Brian, I have more dick pics in my phone than any woman in New York.
And I don't even use Tinder.
And I don't even use Tinder. I said, why? Right? He was married, right? He's telling me this story like as Natalie, his wife, said right there. Because it's his friends of friends, his family members, all sending dick pics saying, hey, what's up, what's wrong?
Yeah.
So we realized that there's this barrier to sexual health. People just don't want to go see a doctor. They want to take care of it, but they want to do it kind of quietly and in their own realm.
Right.
So the reason we created Biem was to eliminate all of those barriers to getting people tested, and then giving them the ability to share or show their results so that they can then have that conversation. So step one, get tested. Step two, let's start sharing and talking about our sexual health with each other as partners. So the barriers that we broke down, here's how it works. You download the app, you answer a few questions, you video chat with a sexual health provider, a medical provider, that knows everything there is to know about sexual health. You can ask all kinds of questions. This is all they do, judgment-free, right? Then you get the order to go get the test done. You can either do it at a local lab or you can do it at home. If somebody literally comes to your house, does the exact same gold standard of STD testing or assessments. 2 to 3 days later, the results come through your phone, so you can then easily read them, understand them, but more importantly, share them with your partner. And the way you share them is simply by showing them on your phone.
Okay.
So you cannot, in the app, send your results to somebody else, because we figured if you're gonna have sex, you're probably gonna do it in person, so you can then show them on your phone. Your data is secure and confidential.
Anything else that you want, I don't know, to say about advice that you wish people would know when they talk about sex, or like anything else that you would want to mention?
I think less that and more of a challenge. More of a challenge, so you bring this up with your partners, bring it up with your friends, get used to talking about it, because it's a lot of fun. I get it, it's like nobody wants to talk about STDs. When you start talking about sexual health, that leads into all kinds of other things, and you become instantly more comfortable with owning your own sexual health.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, it is about you. It is about your health and your safety. So I challenge you to have these conversations and to open up the conversation when appropriate. And one more challenge, if there's any parents out there, regardless of the values that you have on premarital sex or sex in general, doesn't matter, have the sexual health conversation. If you're uncomfortable with doing that, we can do it for you.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
So have that, because that's really where this starts, is being comfortable as a kid growing up, understanding what my body's about to do and what I go through. And ultimately, I think as parents, they want their kids to be safe.
Completely. That's such a good call. If you guys think this video was helpful, please leave a thumbs up. And if you want to reach out to Bryan, or if you want to know more about Biem, I have put all the information in the link below. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Come join the Biem team.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.